Hey, brand builder, Rory Vaden here. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this interview. As always, it's our honor to provide it to you for free. And wanted to let you know there's no big sales pitch or anything coming at the end. However, if you are someone who is looking to build and monetize your personal brand, we would love to talk to you and get to know you a little bit and hear about some of your dreams and visions and share with you a little bit about what we're up to see if we might be a fit. So if you're interested in a free strategy call with someone from our team, we would love to hear from you. You can do that at brandbuildersgroup.com/podcall, brandbuildersgroup.com/podcall. We hope to talk to you soon.
What a powerful conversation with the legendary Erwin McManus. I mean, this guy is I think, one of the wisest teachers that we've got on the planet today, and just so honored to get to become his friend, have him become a client, get to interview him here for you, and you can just see that there is just a level of spiritual wisdom, like spiritual intelligence and emotional intelligence, from knowing how the world operates and knowing how people operate and how we're wired, and what are the things that we do to self-sabotage, and what are the things that we can do to increase the likelihood of our success. And so I want to recap and extend a couple of the things that I learned from Erwin in that specific interview that are sticking with me. And also, when I think of the mindset shifts that need to take place, of course, the interview was promoting his book, Mind Shift. And when I think of some of the key mindset shifts that need to take place for someone to build a great personal brand, be a great entrepreneur, and really maximize and achieve their God-given potential, I want to share 3 of those with you today that were kind of inspired by Erwin. So first one is, I loved when he was talking about don't be a prisoner of praise. I really align with that. I think so many of us are playing for the applause of others. And in reality, I think the applause you should be playing for, first of all, for me, it should be your Heavenly Father, right? It should be this idea that when we get to heaven, he says, job well done, right? Like, you loved me, you loved others, and that's it. Now, separate from that, I think it's playing really for yourself, and not meaning that you're self-centered in the sense of like you only care about winning yourself. But I think what matters is that you need to be proud of yourself. You need to be proud of yourself. It really shouldn't make that much difference to you, I don't think, about how other people think of you. And I think some people go their whole lives trying to make like their alcoholic parent proud of them, and it's like, it's never going to happen. And it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. And why are you spending so much energy and time seeking the approval of somebody else? Who cares about the approval of someone else? You know what you don't need to be successful in life? You don't need the approval of other people. What you need to be is proud of yourself and confident enough to step forward and do the thing that you feel called to do. Like, in some places, there are certain requirements. In some places, there are certain prerequisites, for steps that you can take. Having other people's approval often is not one of them. And specifically, it's like an ex-boyfriend, or, it's a bully in high school, or it's like these people who we allow to control our lives by allowing their influence that they once had on us to hold us today stagnant and still stuck in a place of mediocrity, when we should be pursuing and expanding and achieving our potential. So I want you to focus on being proud of yourself. And part of being proud of yourself is why in my first book, Take the Stairs, right, we say all the time, like, put your self-esteem in your work habits, not in your results. Like, being proud of yourself is not going, oh, I have 1 million followers, or I made $1 million. It's being proud of the work that you're putting in. It's acknowledging yourself for the things that you're doing that nobody else sees. And that's why you have to be your number one cheerleader. You've got to be the person who goes, even if the results aren't there yet, I'm doing the work, right? I mean, I remember when I was speaking 304 times for free at the, in these Perkins restaurants and in these like, trashy comedy clubs on a Tuesday night, nobody was there giving me applause, but I knew that I said, if I'm doing this, one day I'm going to be speaking on stages in front of arenas of people. And I'm paying the price now to earn that right? Like when I was creating my first book proposal and I was writing out the manuscript, nobody was leaving Amazon reviews saying, oh, this book is life-changing. Nobody was there cheering me on, right? Like, well, some people were, right? I've been fortunate to have my wife, my family, and very supportive environment. So I have had people cheering me on. But the person that matters most is you. You got to be the person cheering yourself on. When I was in college and people were slamming the doors in my face, like I was going, well, that's okay. I know that if I talk to enough people, somebody's going to buy. I'm going to get paid for every door that is slammed in my face if I just keep going. You got to be the person cheering you on. And that's how you need to think about it when I say put your self-esteem in your work habits, right? Like one of the things that I did when I was in college was, my first summer when I was going door to door, I made like $17,000. And I figured out, that I knocked on whatever it was, there was like 3,000 doors, that I had knocked on. And there were like 3,000 doors that had slammed the door on me, and we used to keep track of them, right? And so what I found out is like, oh, I made $17,000, and I knocked on 3,000 doors, or that told me no. What most people do is they think of going, oh, I had however many a few hundred customers, and those are the people who paid me. But the game that I played, and I actually wrote a song about this, so I'll sing for you, is I figured out that I actually made $4 every time someone slammed the door on me, because I made $17,000 total in the summer. I knocked on 3,000 doors of people who told me no. So that is $4. So rather than thinking, oh, I make money when I make a sale, in my second summer, I played this game. And whenever somebody would slam the door on me, I would sing this song. I would say, I make $4 because you holla at me, baby. Every time you holla, I make $4 more for me. RV, I make lots of money because you yell at me. Thank you for slamming the door on me. Woohoo! Like, that was the silly song that I was singing, and I would actually sing it out loud between doors, right? So if somebody had been following me, and every time I knocked on a door, they handed me that every time someone slammed the door on my face, if someone handed me $4, I'd be like, that's amazing. I'm going to go knock on another door and see if they'll slam the door on me too. And then here's $4. Here's $4. That is how it was, right? That is how it is. You're getting paid for every rejection. You're getting paid for every setback. You're getting paid for every time you fail. You're getting paid for every time it doesn't work out. The problem is there's nobody standing there handing you the $4. You got to be the one, right? You got to be the person handing yourself $4. You got to be the one cheering yourself on. You have to be the number one cheerleader of your own life. You got to be reminding yourself, I'm getting paid for all of the work that I'm putting in right now that nobody else sees. If you can't cheer yourself on, then you're never going to make it, because no one's going to be there to applaud you. No one's going to be there to cheer for you when you're failing. The only person that's going to be there is you and God. And so you better learn how to cheer yourself on. You better figure out a way to play a game or have a mindset shift or use affirmations or have a mental paradigm that says, I just made $4. I just made $20 every time someone slams the door on me, every time someone tells me no, every time I don't get booked for this, I don't get invited to that, I'm getting paid. And you have to be that person going, I don't care if I'm not winning right now. I'm putting in the work. I'm doing what it takes. And even if the results never come, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself for working when nobody's watching. I'm so proud of myself for hustling when there is no applause. I'm so proud of myself, right? And then, one day I get inducted into the Professional Speaking Hall of Fame when I'm 37, and everyone's clapping and going, oh, how cute. This guy is so young. And it's like, dude, I've been getting rejected and slammed for 20 years. So I might be young in age time, but I'm old in stage time. I'm old in rejection. I'm old in setback. I've experienced massive failure, and I just cheered myself on through it. And that's what I would hope for you, right? Because at the end of the day, you won't care about being in the Hall of Fame or having millions of dollars and millions of followers or being invited to this, that, or whatever. What you have for the rest of your life is you. You will always be there with you. And so how you think of yourself is what matters. What other people think of you, that doesn't matter. But how you think of yourself matters. You need to be your number one cheerleader. You need to be the person whose praise that you're seeking. I want you to work so hard that you become proud of yourself. So that's a mental mindset shift that needs to happen. Number 2, I loved when Erwin said this. He said, at first you always feel like a fake, right? Whenever you start something new, you feel like a fake. Here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to understand. If you're new to something, you're not a fake. You're just a beginner. You're not a fake. You're just a beginner, right? The first time you pick up a camera to do a photo shoot or edit a video and you're like, man, I don't know what to do. Like, you're not a fake. You're just a beginner. Or maybe you're the person on the other side of the camera and you're recording your first reel and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't look anything like Alex Hormozy or Tony Robbins or, Oprah. And I'm like, I feel like such a fake. You're not a fake. You're not a fake. You're just a beginner. That's it. And you can't look at a master and compare what they're doing with you as a beginner. But just because you're not yet a master doesn't mean you're a fake. They were that way too. I promise you. I promise. Every New York Times bestselling author once felt like a fake. Every Hall of Fame speaker once felt like a fake. Every 8-figure entrepreneur once felt like a fake. Every actor once felt like a fake. Every celebrity once felt like a fake. Especially the bigger the goals you're pursuing, the more you feel like a fake, because the more impossible it feels and the fewer people around you there are that have ever done that, right? Like, you might feel like a fake. You're not a fake. You're not a fake. You're just a beginner. You're just learning. You're just starting. Give yourself grace. Again, be proud of yourself for trying and keep going. And celebrate your own wins. Be your own cheerleader. Be proud of yourself. You're not a fake. You're just a beginner. And then the third thing, Erwin brought this up, which I always love when people that are super successful and are like living legends when they talk about this. Erwin said, take the posture of an amateur. Take the posture of an amateur. The way that I process that is to go, you have to be willing to always be a beginner. Be willing to always be a beginner. Probably my most famous quote from my first Take the Stairs book is, success is never owned. Success is rented, and the rent is due every day. Part of why I said that, success is never owned, it's rented and the rent is due every day, is because it's true. It's like, even if you're a master, you can still be a beginner, right? Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, like you hear the stories of how hard they practice, about the amount of energy and time they are. Steph Curry shooting free throws and shooting 3-pointers. Like, yeah, he's a master and he's still doing it every single day. He's paying the rent every single day. Excuse me. You see that behavior modeled by the most successful people in the world in all walks of life. The ones who continue to climb, they allow themselves to always be a beginner. Be willing to be a beginner. Most people don't want to be a beginner because it makes them feel like a fake. That's why it's so important to realize you're not a fake. You're just a beginner. And it's okay to be a beginner, right? When I try to play the piano or the guitar, I feel stupid. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't get this, right? Like, if I'm cooking in the kitchen, I feel stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm just a beginner. I just haven't done it much. I've lent my time and my attention and my energy to other things, right? And one of my all-time not famous quotes, one of my all-time favorite quotes, and I believe it was Mark Twain who said this is who I attribute to it, is Mark Twain said, every man is my superior in some way. Every man is my superior in some way. That's so true. And that gives you grace for yourself, and it also puts things in perspective when you meet other people and you go, wow, I really admire, this person. They're so funny, or they're such a great leader, or they're a great speaker, or a great mom, or a great dad, or they're a great cook, or they're super in shape. And it's like, doesn't mean that person's better than you. It just means that they are your superior in some way, but there's other ways that they're not, right? Like their marriage might be a mess, or their finances might be a mess, or they might be struggling with self-confidence, or they're not as spiritually centered as you are, or they just, they have different skill sets. There's not like a ranking system where we go, one human is better than another in all things, but in some ways they are, right? Every man is my superior in some way. And you know what that also means? That likely means that you're superior to every other man in some way. Right? There's something that you do. There's at least one thing in your life that you know more about, or you do a better job of than everybody else around you. And so it creates this equal playing field by realizing that we all have unequal talents. We have non-proportionately distributed talents. That's called uniqueness. That's called God's divine design for your life. That's called your blessing. You were born to do something that only you can do. So lean into those things and realize, you might become a master. You might become an expert. There are some things where it's like, I am a master. There are just some things, and that's why we try to teach the things that we're really good at. And if you want to build your personal brand, like, gosh, you're going to be hard-pressed to find anyone better in the world that can teach it to you than us. Like, we're really good at this. Anybody who wants to become a speaker or an author or a coach, or who wants to speak or write or teach as a way of generating leads for their business, I mean, we spend our whole life doing this. But if you want me to, like, change your oil or cook you a meal or, like, give you parenting tips, like, I'm not the guy. I'm not the master in that. Every man is your superior. Every woman each is your superior in some way. So that should both help you put an appropriate level of praise on other people and an appropriate level of grace on yourself, and have a balance of both confidence and humility to know that each man is my superior in some way. But if you do those things, right, a lot of this comes down to going, you got to be proud of yourself. You got to find a way to celebrate yourself. You got to be the person who believes in you. You got to be the person who cheers you on. You got to be the person who says, even when no one else is watching, when no one else is clapping, when no one else is paying attention, you go, here by myself in this moment when I'm alone, I'm learning the things and I'm doing the work, and I'm surrounding myself with the people who are going to help me do the thing that I want to do, that I feel called to do one day. So if building a personal brand is that thing for you, request a call with us. Will you please talk to our team? This is something that we know something about, and we've got a track record. We're working with some of the most amazing people in the world, like Erwin McManus. And, just go to freebrandcall.com/podcast, request a call, talk to someone on our team. And between now and then, be cheering yourself on. Find a way to be proud of you. We'll catch you next time on the Influential Personal Brand Podcast.